guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. And guys, in this guy's story here, you're going to see why I tell you guys so many times, for you guys that do relationships or want to get married one day, why it is crucial that you spend years, not months, years, really getting to know this girl before you actually take the plunge and either move in with her, or even further yet, get married to her. You know my opinion about marriages in 2021, but it is what it is. You got to take your time getting to know her, and you need to see her in all sorts of different situations and scenarios to find out what her real character is like, because anybody can put on an act for a while. I mean, the stories I've done have proven this. Also, important thing in this story, guys, to remember is you need to always trust your gut. When there are red flags, you pay attention to them and trust your gut. And you listen to yourself, not your friends and family. If your friends and family are saying something against what your gut is saying, don't listen to them. It'll come back to hit you hard. Because in this story, guys, it's about a guy who pretty much, he was younger. This is from 20 years ago. He lost his first wife to an illness. He had 3 kids. And when he was ready to start dating, he met this woman who he thought was a lot of fun, really good looking. She was great on paper in terms of like degrees and all these other things. And everything was wonderful in the beginning. And you're going to see what happens, how this spirals out of control. And why I said in the beginning is so important. And but the good thing is it does have a happy ending for the guy. But anyhow, I'm going to get into this. A lot of lessons here. So it starts off. Dear SSM, here's a story for the ages. It happened 20 years ago. I was recently widowed with 3 young children. My wife had a long, protracted illness. Around 6 months after she passed away, I started dating again. I went out with a number of different women, many fun times. But then I met the psycho. She was 7 years younger than me, a double Ivy League grad, professional, attractive, and fun. I soon learned never be deceived by the curb appeal. It's inside what counts. Translation: he was in the honeymoon period. Everything seemed great in the beginning, because that's usually how it is. And he said that he met the psycho. Hot crazy scale. He said that she's 7 years younger. He said that she was pretty. And he said attractive, all that. Hot crazy scale. He says, we went out about 6 months or so, and she got along great with my kids. I asked her to marry me, and she agreed. After 6 months, dude, smack. Where was the really getting to know her at the time? That 6 months? That's the honeymoon period. Anybody can put up an act that long. But I get it. I get the guy. He lost his wife. It was just him with his kids. This was 20 years ago, long before YouTube and this knowledge started being spread out to the masses. So I get it. But still, he learned the hard way. And so he's obviously writing this as a warning to guys to understand about this. So, I get it. But still, any young guy that has an idea to do this after 6 months, you deserve a good smack. She moved into my house, and then the fun began. He's obviously being sarcastic when he says fun. There was a very dark side to her. She was moody and often flew into rages for no particular reason. In short, she had more red flags than a May Day parade in Seattle. She was hostile to the housekeeper, and when we walked into the department store, she actually believed that the store clerks were conspiring against her. Cuckoo. Sounds like she's got some serious paranoia. You can call it multiple personality disorder, dissociative personality, whatever the hell they call it, because these terms are always changed every few years, but you catch my drift here. Definitely off her meds, if she ever actually was on meds. Hot crazy scale. I soon found out that she had been discharged from her high-paying position at a large firm and had been lying to me that she was still employed. Not cool. I almost ended it there, but for some reason, I forgave her. I was feeling overwhelmed by my 3 kids and hoped she'd be a good mother to them. My oldest daughter grew to despise her. Again, like I said in the beginning, I get the guy, he lost his wife and was in mourning and going through all that, and with the kids. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what that's like, but I can imagine how tough that would be. But and you obviously want things to be good, and he obviously is fixated on the good times, and obviously her good looks certainly helped. But all these signs, all these red flags, no way. And this is before he actually married her, guys. So he had a way. There were signs for him to kick her ass to the curb, but he didn't. And there were obviously reasons why. But that's why I share these stories, guys, to give examples so you don't fall into situations like this. He says, I called off the wedding several times and let myself be talked back into it by several friends. I knew that not so deep down that she was poison. So he called off the wedding many times. He knew this chick is trouble, right? But he listened to his friends, okay? Now, statistically, we know what the divorce rate in this country is, over 60%. 20 years ago, I guarantee it was still pretty high, right? I don't know where it was 20 years ago, but I'm sure it's still pretty high. So statistically and likely his friends were in unhappy marriages or divorced themselves, and misery loves company. I'm sure they say, oh, we want to see you happy and blah, blah, blah. And he's making it clear she's nuts, but he listened to his friends. You got to listen to yourself, guys. And a lot of times in life, by you doing what you want to do and what's best for you, it's going to piss people off. Mark my words. You're going to lose friends over this. You're going to have family resent you because you're doing what's best for you. But at the end of the day, guys, we got one life. That's it. Unless it can be proved otherwise, we got one life here, so we got to do what's best. It's better to spend your life doing what's best for you and have some friends and obviously lose some on the way, as opposed to spend your whole life doing things to make other people happy, and you're still not going to make them happy, and you yourself are miserable. See what I mean? His story continues. The big day came, and I was ready to go ahead with it, against my better judgment. Again, he knew he shouldn't do this. We had agreed to split the cost of the wedding, as I really didn't want a fancy affair, but it was her first marriage. Translation, it's going to be a big wedding. But it was her first marriage. The guests started showing up. I had allowed my daughter to invite a close friend of hers without getting the psycho's approval. She hated this kid, and not without good reason. I had never mentioned the invitation to her, and at the wedding, she sees this kid and has a complete meltdown. So we got a bridezilla here on our hands. Not that anybody's surprised that this chick is a bridezilla. She has a meltdown because there's an additional guest there. Control freak, nut job. And this guy, obviously, I don't care about this whole we're going to split the wedding thing. I guarantee he was paying for the whole thing anyway. I urged her to go to a private room as we were walking there. Boom, she punches me in the back. I spun around and she was going for a second punch when I grabbed her hand and nearly twisted it out of the socket. We had a big blowout and I was tempted to terminate it right then and there, but was afraid of the embarrassment. Big mistake. I figured I'd dump her after the honeymoon. So the whole punching thing obviously was after they're up there getting married. She sees his daughter brings a friend. They get married. They walk down the aisle. I do. They're married. And then she has a meltdown right after they say I do and punches him. The second, boom. I bet this guy's thinking, why the hell didn't I listen to myself? Why did I listen to my stupid friends? I mean, ultimately, the decision was on him. He made the decision to do it, but he's thinking, why the hell did I listen to my stupid friends? I should have kicked this broad to the curb. Nope. And look what he's got. Now she's punching him. It gets better, guys. He says, big mistake. I figured I'd dump her after the honeymoon. That night, we had a huge blowout in the honeymoon suite at the hotel. I figured, WTF. The trip is already paid for, a nice Mediterranean cruise, and a trip to the south of France. Well, that sounds awesome. I've been to the south of France. It's beautiful. I didn't feel like going alone, but I should have. She moped around most of the time and had a few rages for meaningless reasons. We got back and things went from horrible to completely insane. She was a total pig and was useless around the house and couldn't deal with taking care of my kids. She had a major car accident but survived uninjured. I was really on a run. See, guys? Trust your gut. Listen to yourselves. And screen these women before you even consider moving in with them, let alone marrying them. Does this mean that every situation is going to be like this? Of course not. But these are worst case scenarios to show you what can happen, guys. You got to be careful. Or simply don't get married. You can be in relationships. Nothing wrong with that. You can do relationships. Have a good time and all that. She's always going to be pressuring you to marry her and all that. But you'll have the upper hand. But look what can happen here. And believe me, even just on smaller scales, things change after they say I do. And you know what? I will be fair here. Guys do change as well. But this is a men's channel, and primarily it's the women that do the big changing. It continues. The first month's credit card bill came in for $24,000. 24 grand. And this is 20 years ago. So we're talking about 2001. So $24,000 had a great deal more purchasing power than it does today. I don't know what that could be adjusted for real inflation. I'm not saying the inflation the government gives us every year. I'm talking about real inflation. But trust me, that'd be like, I would say easily, conservatively, probably about $36,000 today, maybe more, if we're talking about real inflation, because government likes to constantly redo the formula of inflation, and that way then, they can say it's this, but it really is this, and that's a whole other conversation for another day. But anyhow, that's a lot of damn money for the first month they were married. This guy obviously makes good money. That was it. I canceled the card and told her it was over and that she should leave my home. Good job, dude. Which she refused to do. So I sued her for divorce. Every account I had, she charged to the max. Even the butcher bill. She had $7,000 of dental work done on my card. This is why when you get, for guys, you do relationship, let me rephrase that. You guys get married, or you're on the path of being married. If you're going to do it, you need to have her bank account under her name, your bank account under your name, and one in the middle for joint expenses. Her credit card's on her name, your credit card's on your name. She does not get a credit card that also has your name on it, that you're responsible for her thing. No freaking way, okay? Okay, joint account pays for mutual expenses like the electric bill, the mortgage, the rent, whatever. The cable, the internet, and her account, your account. That's it. Look what happened here when she was on his card. He says, I had a great judge, and being an attorney, my partner and I did most of the paperwork. She was trying to get $250,000, and the judge told her that for a 3-month marriage, she was insane and would receive nothing. The judge asked her why someone as educated as her couldn't get a job. She claimed she couldn't find one. Bullshit. The judge was unmoved. He said you leave and get on with your life, and that for a marriage this short, her chances in court were not good. Well, that is good to hear. I'd like to know where he was living at the time, because believe me, nowadays in certain states, she would have definitely cleaned up way more than this after 3 months. He says, we went to a mediator to work things out amicably. Yeah, good luck there. And he told me that she had borderline personality disorder, and I should just pay her whatever she asked to be done with her. Bullshit. Are you kidding me? Pay her whatever she wants? I don't care if she has borderline personality disorder, which no shocker there, duh. I have to wonder if this mediator is getting a little something from her on the side for this idea. Otherwise, who knew how she would react and behave? Now everything started making sense. Her rages, her paranoia, her gaslighting, and delusional behavior. I said, I've worked too hard for the money and would give her a small amount to leave, but no more. Good for you for sticking to your guns. I'm sure this is hard on so many levels. It's like, these are obviously the years from hell from this guy with his wife passing away. Everything's on him, then meeting her, and all this bullshit. Holy crap. Finally, she realized it was time to move on. She had to move out. I gladly paid her $30,000 and agreed to pay her health insurance for 1 year. She was on her way out, but tried one more time to stay. Then 9/11 had just happened, and she was scared to move back to the city. I said, if you're not out by next week, you're getting $0, and I'm heading back to court to give you the boot. You're out of here, and finally she was. And it ends him saying, from my experience, or from the experience I learned, that weakness is a choice and always your enemy. People will give you as much crap as you'll take. Absolutely. You cannot take crap, guys. You got to stand up for yourself and draw a line in the sand. Until then, people will just keep chipping away, trying to see what they can get from you. No joke. And it isn't just for women. It's also men. It could be in any situation. In your family life, work life, personal life, doesn't matter. You got to stand your ground and draw a line in the sand, and it will not be crossed no matter what, or there will be hell to pay. He says, always cut your losses early and at the first available chance. Never give a crap what other people think. And of course, if it flies, floats, or F's, lease it. Regards. Well, that is quite a story. And like I told you in the beginning, guys, like I said all the time, if you're going to get married, you need to take your time really finding out who she is. And even then, she could put up an act for years, but at the very least, you tried and have see how what she's like with money, problems, drama, situations. The longer you're with her and more scenarios, you know, arise, you can see how she handles it and handles herself, and how she is with people, with kids, with family, all that stuff, okay? Out and about, all that. And here's the other thing, guys. She moved in with him for a little while. And right away when she moved in, that's when the craziness began. So he got to see what she was like. So at that point, he should have gotten rid of her just like that. But he didn't, because, you know, obviously he was going through a very hard time with the death of his wife and the kids and all that, and he was hoping for the best. This guy is now older and wiser, and this is why he's sharing his story to help other guys out there don't make the same mistake he does. Because, guys, we all make mistakes, okay? Believe me, I made my share of mistakes in this life, and I've worked very hard to learn from them, and then make sure I don't do it again. And I can pass this knowledge and wisdom on to you guys, because I'm 43. You know, I've learned a lot in this period of my life thus far, and believe me, I'm going to make mistakes again, but I'll learn from them. So, and also, guys, back to the whole thing about listening to yourself and trusting your gut. He said he threatened to cancel the wedding many times, but he didn't. He listened to his friends. You gotta listen to yourself and do what's best for you, okay? Because you go around trying to please everybody, you're just gonna make yourself miserable. But in the end, justice was served. Yes, he lost a bunch because he charged up the credit cards and had to pay for the wedding and all that other bullshit. But he said here he's an attorney, and I'm going to guess, seeing some of those numbers there, he does well for himself. But a man can bounce back. We can all, no matter how bad it gets, we can always bounce back. And I'm glad, at the very least, he kicked her ass to the curb at the end. There's a happy ending to this story. And I really hope this guy, the last 20 years has been really good for him with his family and kids and all that. And I would imagine probably is. So, but great story. Thank you, brother, for setting that story. This will guarantee help some people out in the future. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you guys ever had any situations. Have you ever been married and had something like this happen to you? Or in relationships, something like this happened to you? Like just completely 180, she went nuts? Share in the comment section. Will help guys out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.